You can't move for shoppers on Oxford Street. This is London's busiest shopping area. What BHS, British Home Stores, wouldn't give to have had more of them walking through its doors.
It probably does look a bit old-fashioned.
It used to be one of the best stores on Oxford Street, and now look at it, selling rubbish.
That's the verdict of those walking out of this flagship store, the few that is we saw who had purchased anything. Hardly a ringing endorsement, some even hurriedly cashing in.
I had a couple of gift vouchers worth £20 that I needed to use. And when I heard the news, I thought I'd better go and redeem them before they close,
BHS has not made a profit in 7 years, a staple of Britain's high street since 1928, 164 stores nationwide, 11,000 employees. But sentimentality won't pay the bills. This chain has run out of cash. The news of BHS's demise will, of course, come as a huge shock to those who work there, though perhaps not a massive surprise to those who work in the wider retail industry, especially when you consider the fact that the man who bought that chain for the equivalent of best part of $300 million 16 years ago sold it last year for the equivalent of around about $1.44. The focus now not so much on saving BHS, but on rescuing the pensions of those thousands of employees who suddenly find themselves without a job. Woolworths was the last huge casualty in the UK. It folded in 2009 after 100 years. Changing times, changing habits forced that. The public said they loved it. The problem was they weren't shopping there anymore. What's going on with all of these shops? You'd think these big stores would be safe, but clearly they're not.
I think ultimately stores in the moment, at the current climate that we're in, need to be completely and utterly finger on the pulse of what's going on. Anybody that loses their way is going to suffer like we're seeing at the moment with BHS. It's likely to be as bad as 2008, 2009. So actually what we have is a situation where unless you are 100% right, communicating with your customer perfectly, you're going to be in trouble.
Administrators say BHS stores will continue to trade while they search for a buyer who will take it as a going concern. But there is a deficit of hundreds of millions of dollars in its pension fund, and that will be a tough sell. Outside this store on Monday, believers were busy spreading the word of their God. But it may take more than a prayer to save this shopping icon and its staff. Lavelle, Al Jazeera, London.